Hey everybody, back again. Today we're going to be making an arrowhead that doesn't even require turning on the forge out of a spoon. We're going to make a broadhead. Let's get to it. So literally all we're going to do is flatten this steel out on the anvil real quick. Just like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to mark where I want to cut, go with the angle grinder, cut it off, and we'll get this fitted up to our arrow shaft. Okay, so I've gone ahead and I've cut it, and I've also put an edge on either side of our arrowhead here. So we've got a nice double-edged broadhead here. It's not super razor sharp, but it is sharp enough to cut paper. So I've gone ahead and I've gotten my wedge cut, so that way I can fit the tang for this arrowhead in here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to epoxy this into place, and then I'm actually going to twine wrap this section as well and epoxy the twine wrap, so we've got a nice, strong, solid, hard connection. Got our twine wrap and epoxy on there and in there, and it's just going to cure up. Once that cures up, we'll have our broadhead arrow all ready to start test firing. We've got our broadhead all epoxied and twine wrapped and hardened together. Nice decent size 1.5 inch broadhead with a double edge. So let's see how this flies and how this shoots out of this bow. It went all the way through the wood, just cut straight through, all the way past that broadhead to where it hits the wood and the twine wrap. So it looks like it's got plenty of force to cut and punch that broadhead through. It's just when it catches on that section there, it's not going to make it through the wood. I'm going to take a couple more shots from the same distance at our wood here, just to show you guys what it does when it hits the target. We're just going to slap that same piece of leather we were using on our last test right on the front of this. See if we can't hit our leather and see what it does to a soft target through leather. I hit high, and it punched all the way through and into the back. Try that again. So it looks like I glanced the side here and it just kind of deflected off. So I'm gonna have to hit it pretty close to straight on, because I hit the side here and it just glanced off. There's a little scrape on our leather. Yet again, almost in the exact same spot as the first shot that I made. Getting closer and closer, but still shooting high. Keeps punching right through my target. Ow! So that did better than our bodkin did. That went through the leather, cut right through it like a laser, and it went all the way into the tip of that arrow. So that is definitely a hunting arrowhead for sure. This has piqued my curiosity, because this is, just by weight, I can tell this is easily 3 times as heavy as this is. I have a piece of 1/8 inch thick hardwood over here. I believe this is walnut. We're gonna shoot it with these 2 arrows at 25 yards. I'm gonna put you guys up against the target just so we can see the difference between these two, the heavy versus the light. Like I said, we've got our 1/8 inch thick piece of hardwood, so let's see what happens. That is assuming I can hit my target at this distance. Well then, that wasn't what I expected. It hit perfectly straight up and down in line with the grain and split that wood right in half. Let's put it back together. Hopefully I can hit one of the areas that I didn't hit with this arrow, with our other arrow. Okay, so that one split our wood as well and managed to actually stick into the target behind it about 1/2 inch. Now I'm just gonna shoot my target a couple more times with both of these arrows just as a comparison. Our broadhead seems to always stop when it hits this bundle, just because it's able to go and penetrate so easily while it's cutting through, and then when it hits that impact point it just stops because it's so light. Whereas this bodkin, this heavy, heavy bodkin arrow, that's the deepest I've ever seen it penetrate, and it punched a pretty good distance in from 25 yards. Piece of leather on our particle board shield here. See if I can hit this leather with these arrows and see what it does with a piece of 1/4 inch thick particle board and our piece of leather to simulate our shield. Just barely touched the leather. The part that it touched, it cut. And I hit the hardwood backer back there, so it only sunk about that far into the hardwood and the particle board. So, went through our leather and about that far through the wood. So about like that. About a 1/2 inch. Let's see if our bodkin does any different. I can't believe I managed to hit that on my first shot, and yikes. Yeah, that definitely shows why these were used as armor penetrators. That sucker went 1.5 inches, almost 2 inches through the leather and through the wood behind it. Punched a nice clean square hole through our leather. Just ripped it wide open, and yeah. These bodkins, they definitely have a lot more impact force than those hunting arrows do. Let's get a couple shots at 25 yards just so you can see the difference in arrow flight between these two arrows. What I can see from me shooting before I check the footage, I can already tell you that the lighter arrow flies so much faster and so much straighter, whereas this one kind of wiggles through the air. The fletching is really trying to fight inertia hard to keep this sucker straight. So you can definitely see the difference between these two arrows in terms of how they function out of that same bow, and we're definitely going to be doing more videos like this on the channel, so don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss out on future arrow builds, future arrowhead builds, future bow builds, future sword builds, knife builds, blades. Just to give you guys a comparison of these two arrowheads, this bodkin is super duper thick, super duper chunky and heavy, and this little broadhead is super thin and light. So there's a huge dramatic difference in the way these fly out of that bow, simply because of the weight alone. So this definitely flies faster than our last arrow did, and it's definitely lacerating really well. So all in all, I would say that using a spoon for a broadhead is actually pretty effective. That does it for today's video. If you guys like what you've seen, you know what to do. Do the thing right there. Until next time, God bless, stay sharp out there. If you're looking for a custom sharp object, check out the Etsy store.